Yeah. Now I want to share something about manifestors. I will read something from the Manifestor Manifesto, and this little part is called Manifestors Initiate. And we operate differently in one way and one way only, that all manifestors initiate. This is what manifestors do. They initiate, and not particularly in my sense of the specific of that, because I have the channel of initiation, means Ra had that channel. I really mean it in a much broader generic sense. That is, manifestors aren't waiting for some kind of sign. They're not waiting for a cue. They're not waiting for a signal. They're not waiting for a stimulation. They are not waiting for any of those things. The life force of the planet, what we are really not as a manifestor, the life force of the planet, the generators of the planet, the way in which they operate in the world is so incredibly different. Their perfection is only in their response. In other words, they don't have anything to be concerned about. One of the jokes that's always been so obvious to me about the generator is that what a gift it is to not have to be responsible for the way you navigate on this plane. Manifestors pretend to be generators. If you're a generator and you're correct, you're no longer responsible for your navigating. You, as a generator, are responding to whatever the stimulus happens to be out there. But then there's the manifestors, and we're not allowed to be that way. One of the great dilemmas of manifestors is that manifestors fantasize being generators. They do everything in their power to pretend that they are generators. They make generator sounds. They wait for things to happen. They wait for things to come to them. They wait for the stimulus, all of that kind of things. They become the super experts in reaction and response. And because they are manifestors, they really get punished for that. They don't get frustration. They really get punished. We really get punished. Everything about a manifestor's life is about what we make of it. That's really the truth of it. It's what we make of it. What I mean by that, and I don't mean it in that sense that somehow we have a choice. It's just the way it works out in the mechanism of what it is to be a manifestor. Take the example of love. I guess love is one of the places where everybody has their thing. When you think about love, think about what it is to be a generator, to find perfect love. You wait for it. It shows up. Imagine that. It just shows up. They find it hard to believe because they don't live it, but it's the truth. All they have to do is just sit there and wait. It is going to show up. They don't have to find it. They don't have to look for it. They don't have to ask for it. And then there's the manifestor. The scene at a high school dance where the girls are at one side of the floor and the boys are at the other side of the floor. What courage it takes to walk across that floor and ask somebody for a dance. This is what it is to be a manifestor. What it is to be a manifestor is that every action you take carries enormous consequences and pressure. Pressure, incredible what is there. Because everything opens you up to rejection. Everything you do opens you up to rejection. Everything. You know? I know. The generator never has to be on the spot. They don't have to deal with all of that. They don't have to put themselves in a position in which they are going to be rejected. They are here to reject. They're here to go, pure rejection. They don't have to deal with being rejected other that when they are living the not self. Then they get the taste, because everybody in the not self is humorously conditioned to be a manifestor, which is really a joke because they wouldn't want to be a manifestor at all. They wouldn't. They have no idea what it means to have a closed and repelling aura. Ra said, I have a deep, deep empathy for manifestor women. I really do. This is an extraordinary inclination to deal with the way in which society and cultures work. And to be a manifestor woman and to be a being with a closed and repelling aura, how difficult it is for others to truly appreciate us, how difficult it is for them to recognize our love. I don't mean to point the finger at generators and make them the bad guy, because they're not, but it's just the perfect counterpoint. They, with their open and enveloping aura, The female generator with their open enveloping aura, the way in which they can be perceived in terms of the nature of their tenderness, their love, their this, their that, but we're manifestors. It was the very first dilemma when we came into the world and we created this unease. It's our aura that created the unease. It's what our aura does. After all, imagine we repel, we push others back, and they move back because we are something that inherently is frightening. It's funny. There we are, manifestors with our enormous head trips because we have to deal with the fact that we have to be the ones who walk across that floor. We're the ones that are dealing with all of the pressure to make something happen, because this is what we do. We make things happen. This is going to be a really dull plane if there aren't those forces that can just make things happen. It's what we are. But because we are that make it happen, we can hit incredible brick walls. We just can. It is so easy for us to meet rejection when we are not correct as manifestors. You have to understand now how unusual you are what it is to be a manifestor. We don't have a strategy. Not a biological strategy. Asking permission as a child, informing as an adult is a mechanical strategy. It gives us a chance not to have to live our lives in anger. It's what it's there for. Oh, we all have our authorities, but it's important to understand we are not like the rest. We are not at all. We do not share the same life as they do. We do not. We are something that's very ancient. Projector is something that's really new. Manifestors, we are old-time, get-things-done beings. This is how the human culture evolution unfolded. It unfolded because of that capacity in us not to wait for the gods, but to push the river. It's the thing that makes manifesting so beautiful, that we are river pushers. This is what we do. Hope you got inspired by that.